Welcome to Clear Picture Financial. I'm your host, Jason Noble, and with me today, I have our consumer advocate, Jackie Selvey. And this is going to be a unique video that we're just doing special for YouTube and our social media. We're not putting this on the radio show because we're just going to have fun today. We're talking about something that is important though. And I'm looking at my notes, like I have to have notes. I should probably wear glasses when I do this as well. But
That's
the
okay.
retirement planning landscape, Jackie, right, it has been changing over the generations. And in particular, one generation is really facing significant issues as they're going into retirement planning. So we're going to talk about that on our today's show. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's baby boomers. And I'm what they call a late baby boomer, born between 1959 and 1964. So it's really that classification that looks like it's really losing some assets, losing some ground, especially since 2008. Do you find that to be true with your clients?
Well, so you had the 2008 market pullback, right? But then the market just went on a tear for over 500% all the way to 2020. And then we had the pullback in March of 2020. And then, here's the thing, in 2022, it was the worst year that we saw in stocks and bonds in the same year. Like what I mean by that is the bond market, the worst year in the bond market was like 7%. In all the years that we've been tracking this before last year.
Really?
The last year it was down 13%, and that was the broad market index. There was other bonds that were down way more than 13%. So then you had the pullback on the stock market and the bond market. And so if you were working with a traditional advisor that had 60% stocks and 40% bonds, let's say, as just like a kind of an example, and they did not look at further diversifying your assets, you were down, right? And if you had like drift in your portfolio because you didn't rebalance, you weren't making those adjustments, and you have 80% stock and 20% bonds, yeah, your 401k became a 201k, right? Last year.
Yes.
And so now, okay, so the thing about this, like what you're from 59 to 64, well, they're on the cusp of looking at Life 2.0 or let's say retirement.
True.
And you do not want to be within that 5 years of retirement and be betrayed by the market, because that could really derail your overall retirement plan. And so that's the headwinds that are really facing the baby boomer generation right now.
That is so true, because I feel like the early baby boomers, they had a pension. Maybe they worked for a company that gave them a pension, or they had an option for a pension. And then later, maybe at the very end of their working years, the 401k thing became legal, or it was an option. So maybe they had those. I feel like early baby boomers really have the most money of all retirement groups right now.
Well, so, pensions went by the wayside in the late 70s going into the early 80s. And what happened as a society with the invention of the 401k
Right.
becoming more prominent is these businesses, they were like, instead of us putting money into a pension and we have the responsibility to oversee the proper investments of the pension, we're going to transfer that responsibility onto the employees.
Right.
So, what's going on in the news right now is the auto worker union, right? And I'm keeping my eye on what's going on there. It's minute by minute news, I feel like, right now on that. So like, I'll just bring it back. So here you are, you're on the line building cars, and then all of a sudden you got to be a portfolio manager for your retirement.
Right.
Because the pension went by the wayside.
Oh, boy.
And so that happened in many different fields. So yeah, before you would retire, you would get a pension and you'll get Social Security, and for the most part, the majority, those two income streams covered the majority of your expenses, and
Right.
you didn't have to worry about ongoing market volatility or anything like that. Well, now it's on you, and how do you handle that? And I gotta say, there's a lot of advisors out there that are not able to manage the 401k unless their company is the planned advisor to the overall 401k. But and there was a new rule that came out saying that we couldn't even give recommendations on a 401k unless we were directly managing them.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a big deal, Jackie, because it was considered a prohibited transaction. And a prohibited transaction, for those that are listening, may not mean a much to you, but for the advisor, they could lose their licenses or be fined and sanctioned. It could be a pretty big deal.
Conflict of interest, Jason? Is that essentially?
Well, you know, if you look, if you went to the ruling about how it came about, was advisors were saying, hey, in your 401k, you should buy this investment or that investment, but they weren't monitoring it because they weren't managing it.
Aha.
And then if the client themselves went and bought it, then the client had the responsibility to readjust it over time.
Oh.
Okay. And what I think, I always try to assume positive intentions, but okay, the intentions don't matter on this ruling because it really hurt a lot of consumers here, because then the advisor now, to avoid the prohibited transaction, they will say you got to put 25% in large cap growth and 22% large cap value. And then the client is like, okay, I have 6 large cap growths to choose from. I have 4 large cap values to choose from. Which one? They couldn't answer that question. They couldn't say which one. That's where it became prohibited.
Oh.
So what I did here with our firm is we went the other way. We went and got the resources and technology and the funding to then, when I'm working with my clients and they got a 401k, they meet with another advisor. That advisor is going to say, well, I could tell you how much to put in certain percentages. Where I'm going, no, I can manage that directly for you. And I could do it myself using my tools and resources so that I'm overseeing the 401k. And this goes to 403bs, 457s. Basically, I could manage any account that is relevant to my client's financial future. I'm able to do that.
Because you have the designation, you have the licensure, and congratulations again. Can I insert my congratulations to you again on your Advisor Hub recognition? Because that's pretty cool. 100 solo advisors on their Advisors to Watch, 100 of them, and you're in the top 5.
Yeah.
And you're the only guy in South Carolina. So that's really exciting stuff. And I like to brag upon you from time to time. So these baby boomers, oh my gosh, there have been, or there is a great big kind of divot, I feel like, especially in the late baby boomers' ability to make up for what they lost in 2008. Is that true, or do you have, what do you think of that?
Just change the year to 2020 and then 2022, because again, 2008 was a major market pullback.
Yeah.
Okay. It was from the highs of 07 to March of 09, it was about a 56% pullback in the market. Okay. And so, but we have short-term memories, Jackie. Like I remember going through 2008 as an advisor and helping my clients navigate through that. Mm-hmm. But we were getting economic reports in 2007 saying a storm is coming. And so then what I was able to do is reach out to my clients and go, here's what we're seeing from an economic standpoint and the storm that we see coming. Here's some choices we have. Let's talk about this and be proactive. And then in 2008, because you keep on bringing it up, so let's dive right into it. In 2008, I had, at the time, 423 clients. It was quite a bit of clients, right? Mm-hmm. I had my office administrator schedule appointments every 2 months for every single client. Uh-huh. And I don't know how I got engaged this year, but I did tell my fiance, who's my wife.
It's the same year?
Same year, yeah. It was a busy year, that I'm going to have to work half days. And so when I was leaving in the morning, one time my mother-in-law was over visiting, and I was like, hey, it's going to be a half day today. And she was like, oh, that's great. You're going to be back from lunch? No, half day in my family means 8 in the morning to 8 at night.
Oh.
I'm going to be in the meetings.
I see.
Because how can you meet with every single person that you're responsible for and that you have that fiduciary responsibility to help them navigate if you're out playing golf in a market like 2008? Right, or even going into the uncertainty of 09 and 2010. I could talk about it with candidness and through the experience that I went through. Like this person I was interviewing for a financial advisor job, He was like, if you spend 18 minutes a day with intention of focus on one topic, by the end of the year, you would have more knowledge on that topic than 95% of the people.
Aha.
And I said, I think that's a fascinating thing that you just said. Okay, you have more knowledge.
Right.
But you don't have the experience and you don't have the wisdom.
Right.
So congratulations, you know something, and I think that's great. But then you got to go through the experience, and then through the experience, that's when you have wisdom,
Right.
And so obviously he's going to say what he needs to say because he's putting his best foot forward, and I'm sure he's listening, and he did a really good job presenting himself. But I think too many times in the industry that I work within, they focus on their knowledge. Well, congratulations, you read a book.
Right.
Congratulations, you went to Google or Ask Jeeves, right? I'm talking to the baby boomers out there.
Or you passed the test.
Right, you passed the test, right? But now, how do you know how to actually apply it? Mm-hmm. And then how do you have that wisdom to pull it into other things? No, so what you're talking about is like for the baby boomers, they've especially as they're moving forward into the retirement planning.
Yes, 10,000 retiring a day.
Per day, what we're seeing is a strain on the Social Security system. We're seeing a strain on existing pensions. So here you are, you're retired and you got a pension. And then if you look at the pension bylaws and you actually pull up the annual report, which nobody really does, except I like to because it's fun for me.
Because that's what you read on vacation.
Well, like one of the major pensions in the United States, under MAPS 21 accounting regulations, it shows they have no funding shortfall. But they have to report the calculations before MAPS came into the account in 2021. So using the 2020 and the 2019 and all the other accounting standards, this pension has a $9 billion shortfall. $9.2 billion is a closer calculation off my memory. Okay.
Whoa!
So
is that a public one? A public pension?
It's a pension for a publicly traded company.
Yes. Okay.
But it is for a company.
Okay. Wow.
But you're bringing up something that's interesting. If you got a state pension, what is the balance sheet of the states? Not really good, especially if you have a state that a lot of people are exiting and leaving.
Oh.
Because how do they refund the money back into those pensions?
Oh my goodness.
And how many states dipped into those pension funds saying, I owe you, and they never put the money back in? So, yeah, we could be seeing headwinds from existing pensions for baby boomers. We could be seeing headwinds on Social Security, and we could be seeing headwinds on the overall market for in the foreseeable future, especially with the contraction of the China's economy, and what they mean at the global scale. To what does that mean from investment and risk management?
So, Jason Noble, what is the solution on? Let's make this solutions watch. What is the solution? What is the first step for someone who fears any of the things that we've discussed, pension wise, or the years, Social Security, any of those things?
Generally speaking, it's gonna be start with a financial plan and have your financial plan dictate your investment approach and strategy, not the other way around. What are your income sources? What are the reliability of those income sources? How long will those income sources last? How do you turn your retirement, your investments into income streams as you get into or near into retirement? So So you got to start with your financial plan and work back into the investments of how that should be allocated. So that would be the case. The other thing is, if your advisor is not having conversations like this with you, what are they doing? I mean, if they're just calling you and they're going, hey, this is what your returns are this year, and this is how much risk we're taking, and this and that, they're not addressing the other factors of your financial life that are so important, and I think it needs to be brought to light, and that's why we did a special segment today.
Yeah, I'm becoming furious for some reason because I don't think a lot of people have this knowledge to understand that you can build. In your retirement years, if you structure things properly and you meet with somebody who's qualified, you can actually build some wealth in retirement.
When I look at wealth, I love that you said this, and we'll probably wrap up after this, Jackie,
Okay.
right? Because we want to be respectful to everyone's time.
Yes.
When I look at wealth, wealth is beyond just what you have on your balance sheet. When I'm working with my clients about wealth, it's, okay, how much money do you have and things of that nature? By all means, yes, I'm a financial planner, obviously. But what do you, like, I look at wealth as like, what are you doing in the community that you live in? Are you engaged in the community? Do you want to be engaged? If so, then what does that look like?
Wow.
Can you share your wisdom and knowledge and experience with a younger generation that also desperately needs it?
Desperately,
okay?
yes.
Desperately needs it. But then, who do you want to spend your time with? Whether that be your spouse or children. Let's be honest. If you're a baby boomer, it's your grandchildren, right? Because I know my in-laws moved into Charleston to be near my kids and my niece and nephew, not to be near my wife and I or my brother-in-law and his wife. But,
Fair enough.
and if they're watching, you know I love you. Okay, but what I'm getting at is who do you want to spend your time with, and what do you want to be doing in life 2.0? Retirement, it wasn't like it used to be where you retired, you got the pension, you got the Social Security, and your life expectancy was, early 70s. Now people are living longer.
Yeah.
And what are you doing to stay engaged and motivated? That is wealth, in my humble opinion, and that's what I work with my clients on a daily basis.
That's beautiful, and that is a great place to stop. I want to keep going because I could interview you all day because I have so many questions, because I guess I'm in the age group, So anyway. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jason.
I think in futures, right, you're just asking me questions not about your own personal, but stuff that is on your mind.
Sure. Well, it's on the mind of all of my friends and family, too. Yeah.
This is why I enjoy our conversations, because you always throw me a couple curveballs, and I appreciate that.
I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Have a great day from your new little studio. Talk to you later.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye.